Hello everyone, welcome back to Take the Snap. I'm JJ, and today I'll be sharing with you my playoff predictions, playoff picture, and game clinching scenarios for the Week 16 of the 2023 NFL season. Let's begin. To start, I will be sharing with you the current playoff picture. The current playoff picture in the AFC is the Baltimore Ravens, who are the only team who has clinched a playoff spot at the number 1 seed. You've got the Miami Dolphins at 10-4 for the 2 seed. The Chiefs are 3 at 9-5. The Jaguars are the 4 seed at an 8-6 record. The 5 seed is the Browns at a 9-5 record. The 6 seed is the Bengals at an 8-6 record, and the 7 seed is the Colts at the 8-6. The teams on the bubble are the Texans at 8-6, the Bills at 8-6, the Steelers at 7-7, the Broncos at 7-7, the Raiders at 6-8, and the Chargers at 5-9. And the eliminated teams are the Patriots, Jets, and Titans. Current playoff picture in the NFC is the number 1 seeded 49ers, who've clinched the division, the number 2 seeded Cowboys, who have clinched a playoff spot, the number 3 seeded Lions, the number 4 seeded Buccaneers, and next is the number 5 seeded Eagles, who have clinched a playoff spot, the number 6 Vikings, and the number 7 Rams. And the teams on the bubble are the Seahawks, Saints, Falcons at 6-8, Packers at 6-8, Giants and Bears at 5-9. And the eliminated teams are the 2-12 Panthers, 3-11 Cardinals, and 4-10 Commanders. Now let's talk about playoff clinching scenarios for each team that can clinch a playoff spot. The Ravens can clinch the AFC North with a win plus a Browns loss or tie, or a tie plus a Browns loss. The Browns can clinch a playoff spot with a win plus a Bengals loss, plus a Broncos loss or tie, plus a Bills loss, plus a Miami loss or tie, plus an Indianapolis Colts loss or tie. Or a Browns win, plus a Steelers loss or tie, plus a Bills loss, plus a Miami win or tie, plus a Denver loss or tie. Or a Browns win, plus a Steelers loss or tie, plus a Bills loss, plus a Miami win or tie, plus a Jacksonville Jaguars loss, plus a Colts win. Or a Browns win, plus a Steelers loss or tie, plus a Broncos loss or tie, plus a Jaguars loss, plus an Indy win, or a Browns win, plus a Steelers loss or tie, plus a Bills loss, plus a Chiefs win, with a Indianapolis win, plus a Jacksonville loss, or a Browns win, plus a Steelers loss, plus a Denver loss or tie, plus a Miami win or tie, plus a Colts loss, or a Browns win, plus a Steelers loss or tie, plus a Denver loss or tie, plus a Miami win or tie, plus a Jacksonville loss, or a Browns win, plus a Cincy Pitt tie, plus a Buffalo loss, plus an Indy win, plus a Jacksonville loss. Chiefs can clinch a playoff spot and an AFC West title with a win or a tie plus a Denver loss. The Dolphins can clinch an AFC division title with a win plus a Bills loss or tie, or a Dolphins tie plus a Bills loss. And the Miami just clinches a playoff berth with a win or a Dolphins tie plus a Jaguars loss, or a Dolphins tie plus an Indy loss plus a Houston loss, or a Dolphins tie plus a Colts loss or tie plus a Browns loss, or a Dolphins tie plus a Houston loss or tie plus a Cincy loss or tie, or a Dolphins tie plus a Cincy loss or tie plus a Colts loss or tie. On to the NFC. Lions can clinch an NFC North division title with a win or tie, and they just clinch a playoff spot if they lose with the Rams loss or tie or Seahawks loss or tie. The 49ers can clinch the NFC number 1 seed with a win plus an Eagles loss, plus a Cowboys loss, plus a Lions loss. Now let's talk about my playoff predictions. We'll begin with the AFC. I have the Baltimore Ravens as the 1 seed at 12-4. The last 3 games of the season are at San Francisco, which I have them losing, home versus Miami, and home versus Pittsburgh. I have them winning the Dolphins and Steelers games. At the 2 seed, I think it will be the Kansas City Chiefs at 12-5. Their last 3 games of the season are home against the Raiders, home against the Bengals, and at the Chargers. I have them winning all 3 of those games, giving them a 12-5 record in the 2 seed. The 3 seed, I had the Miami Dolphins at 11-6 record. The last 3 games of the season are at home versus the Cowboys, which I have them losing, at the Ravens, which I have them losing, and home versus Buffalo. I think the Bills are the better team, but I think the Dolphins will win this game, giving them an 11-6 record. And I think that they'll be the 3 seed because this roster is very good with Tua Tagovailoa, Raheem Mostert, Devon A-Chain, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. It's just very fast, very good team, very underrated quarterback. And this defense is also pretty good. So I think that they are one of the flashiest teams in the league. I have them finishing at the 3 seed in the AFC. The AFC 4 seed, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars at 11-6. The last 3 games are at Tampa Bay, home versus the Panthers, and at Tennessee, which I have them winning all 3 of those games. I think they are still a very good team. They have Trevor Lawrence, they have Travis Etienne, who's playing very good, Zay Jones, Calvin Ridley, I know they're both banged up, and then you have Evan Ingram, who's playing very good. That defense is playing also very good, and I just think that this team, young team, led by Doug Peterson, the head coach, who came in and built a culture change, I see them going back to the playoffs and possibly making a run. At the 5 seed, I got the Indianapolis Colts, also at 11-6. Colts' last 3 games of the season are at Atlanta, which I have them winning, home to take on the Raiders, which I have them winning, and home versus the Texans, which I have them winning. And let me explain why for that last game versus the Texans. I think they'll win because they have a veteran quarterback who knows what to do in these situations. I don't think CJ Stroud can really take the pressure. I just don't think he will. It'll be a Week 18 game, really to fight for kind of playoffs. And I think that I would take the veteran quarterback, Gardner Minshew, over CJ Stroud in this situation. And I think that they can easily take care of the Falcons and the Raiders. They're one of the stories of the year. I think that the Colts could make a run. I mean, this offense has a lot of good pieces. Zach Moss, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce playing very good. You have multiple tight ends, Kylan Granson, Mo Ali Cox, and then you've also got the young rookie and Josh Downs, who's playing amazing. And this defense, Zamir Wright, who's leading the league in tackles. You got a lot of other players like Kenny Moore. They're both playing very good football. And I think that the Colts are in the playoffs. I have them in the playoffs, as I've said. And I think that this team could be dangerous in the wild card. Next, I got the Cleveland Browns at 10-7. The Browns' upcoming games are at the Texans, which I have them losing, home versus the Jets, which I had them winning, and at the Bengals, which I had them losing, to give them a 10-7 record. This Browns team, they're playing very well. Joe Flacco's doing very good. The tight end, David Njoku's playing out of his mind. Amari Cooper's playing amazing. And you can't even forget about this defense. This defense is best in the league by a mile. Myles Garrett should and hopefully will win Defensive Player of the Year. And this defense is amazing, like I said before. And this defense is the reason that they're in these games and they're in the playoffs. At the 7th seed, I had the Houston Texans at a 10-7 record. Their last 3 games are home versus the Browns, which I had them winning, home versus the Titans, which I had them winning, and at the Colts, which I had them losing, like I said before. CJ Stroud, he will be the Offensive Player of the Year. He is playing out of his mind, amazing. He was hurt this last game versus the Titans, but I don't think that will really matter. He'll be back. He's been playing so good. I knew it. I said it from the beginning. CJ Stroud deserves to be number 1 overall, and he is playing like he should have been. And Bryce Young isn't really doing much, so I think the Texans, I see them in the playoffs. DeMeco Ryans has given this team a newfound life on defense, and I think that Tank Dell, before he got hurt, he was playing very good, and that just gave this team confidence to go out there every week and show them that CJ Stroud is the guy, and that DeMeco Ryans, the new head coach, is the new head coach, and he is that guy. And I think that the Colts are going to beat them, but I think that the Texans are a good playoff team. That's it for the AFC. Now let's go on to the NFC. The number 1 seed in the NFC, I have the San Francisco 49ers at 14-3. The next 3 games are home versus the Ravens, at the Commanders, and home versus the Rams, and I have them winning all 3. I think the 49ers are the best team in the league. Brock Purdy's playing very good, amazing. Christian McCaffrey's playing out of his mind, an MVP candidate. Him and Purdy are. Deebo Samuel, he's going out there and just destroying defenses. George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk, of course, also playing amazing. And this defense, they are very good also. I think they're one of the elite defenses in the league. And I think the 49ers are one of the best roster, top and bottom. And I think that they will make a Super Bowl run and possibly win it all. Next, I have the Philadelphia Eagles at 13-4. The Eagles, they have not been playing very good recently, and they have dropped like 3 games straight, but I think they will get back on track. Their next 3 games are Giants and Cardinals at home and at the Giants again, which I think that they can win all 3 of those easily. I mean, this is also a very good roster. Jalen Hurts, obviously one of the best QBs in the league. You have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, one of the best receiving duos, and Dallas Goedert, obviously the tight end. This defense, it's not as good as it was last year because they lost some important pieces. It's not bringing the team down. It's keeping them where they are. But I think that this offense will lead them to victory, and I think Jalen Hurts, he might make a Super Bowl run also. I mean, he is a very good quarterback. We saw him in the Super Bowl last year, barely lose it. So I think the Eagles are still a very elite team, and I think Jalen Hurts is still a very elite quarterback. Next, I've got the Detroit Lions at 12-5. The Lions, they've had a roller coaster for the past couple of games, but I think they'll make the playoffs as the 3 seed. They'll win this division. And their next 3 games are at the Vikings, which I have them winning, at the Cowboys, which I think they'll lose, and home versus the Vikings again, which I think they'll win. And I think that they will finish with a 12-5 record, like I said. Dan Campbell, who came into this team and built a culture, he's given these fans hope for the first time in a while. And Jared Goff, he's playing fine. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think he's a very elite wide receiver. He is a top 10 in my opinion. He deserves to be in the conversation with the elite wide receivers. This defense is also playing amazing. Sam Laporta is looking really good, the rookie tight end. So I think this is a young team with a veteran quarterback who I think that they might make a run also. I mean, there's a lot of good NFC teams. I'm just not sure how good Jared Goff can play in the playoffs, but I think this Lions team right now is playing pretty good. And I think that this team is dangerous, especially with the amount of weapons they have and how amount of people they can get involved in the passing game. So that's why I had the Lions at the 3 seed. At the 4 seed, I have the New Orleans Saints at 9-8. Yeah, somebody has to win this division. The last 3 games are at the Rams, which I think they'll lose. They're at the Buccaneers, which I think they'll win, and home versus the Falcons, which I think they'll win. Yeah, this division is pretty bad. They have the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Falcons, and the Panthers in this division. So, I think that the Saints will win this division. I think they're the best team. I mean, Derek Carr's the best quarterback in this division. You've got Alvin Kamara, who is aging, but pretty good. A good young receiver in Chris Olave, who's a very bright spot. And then you have good defensive weapons. This defense, this team, they're built around the run defense. And if the run defense starts to fail, though, I think this team could probably go downhill. I don't think they make a run in the playoffs, but somebody has to win this division. I think the Saints just come out on top. Like I said, I think they'll finish at 9-8. So now let's move on. At the 5 seed, I have the Dallas Cowboys at 13-4. Their final games are at the Dolphins, home versus the Lions, and at the Commanders, which I think they'll win all 3 of those games. I think the Cowboys are playing amazing ball. Dak Prescott is having the best season of his career, and CeeDee Lamb's going out there just playing it very good. And this defense is also playing very good, but this story has been Dak Prescott. And I think that the Cowboys, I don't know if they'll make a run. I think they'll win the wild card. But the Cowboys in the playoffs is a little hard to tell. But that I had them in the playoffs. I think they've already clinched a spot. So I think that they will get the 5 seed. I think the Eagles will beat them out for the division. But this Cowboys team is playing great with Dak Prescott. At the 6th seed, I have the Seahawks at 10-7. The final 3 games are at the Titans, home versus the Steelers, and at the Cardinals. I think they'll win all 3 of those games to give them a 10-7 record. I mean, this past week they beat the Eagles with Drew Lock, so I think if Geno Smith comes back, they can play even better. With DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, one of the best 3 wide receivers in the league. And I think this running game could be dominant with Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker III. And this defense is also playing pretty good with Bobby Wagner leading it. And I think that this team, they won't really make a run, but I think it's just shocking the fact that I think they'll make the playoffs back-to-back years after trading away Russell Wilson. So I think the Seahawks, they are underrated, flying under the radar kind of, but I think they're going back to the playoffs. The 7th seed, I have the Green Bay Packers at 9-8. Their final 3 games are at the Panthers, at the Vikings, and home against the Bears, which I think they'll win all 3 games. The Packers, this team, they have given it the all with Jordan Love. They've gone all in, and I think they're playing amazing. Jaden Reed is playing out of his mind, and they've been doing surprisingly well with a lot of injuries this year, especially to the running backs, and this defense has been banged up. And I think that this team is dangerous. Jordan Love, he has a lot of his time sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, but now he is finally the starter this year, and he's proved that he is that guy. And I think that they will make the playoffs, and I think that they're a dangerous team to play. That's it for today. Thanks for listening to Take the Snap.